Welcome to the Conflict Zone, a channel dedicated to informing about major conflict points around the world.
In this video, we will discussing the Israeli invasion of southern Lebanon, launched this past Monday, September 30th, at around 8 p.m. local time. We will explore Israel's invasion plan, its targets, and the objectives of this military operation.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated with all our latest news.
On Monday evening around 7 p.m. local time, intense Israeli artillery fire began striking various positions in southern Lebanon. The Israeli Air Force escalated its attacks further north, even reaching the Beirut region. Typically, ground operations are preceded by heavy aerial and artillery bombardments to destroy as many enemy positions as possible along the advancing routes. This is exactly what happened last night, around 8 p.m. local time, when thousands of Israeli soldiers, along with hundreds of vehicles and armored units, began entering Lebanon. The Israeli advance was met with a withdrawal by the Lebanese army and the United Nations peacekeeping forces, UNIFIL, leaving a clear path for Israel to target Hezbollah positions along the Israeli-Lebanese border. It is important to note that Israel is not targeting the Lebanese government or military. The focus of these airstrikes, and now the ground invasion, is Hezbollah, the largest non-state military force in the world, with an estimated strength of over 100,000 fighters. Heavily armed with artillery and missiles supplied by Iran, which also provides financial support and advanced military training, Hezbollah has developed into a highly capable fighting force. Over the years, the group has gained significant combat experience, particularly in Syria, where thousands of its fighters supported the forces of dictator Bashar al-Assad. But why did Israel choose to invade Lebanon now? The ground invasion is the culmination of a series of Israeli actions aimed at weakening and disrupting Hezbollah. This began with the remote detonation of communication devices like pagers and radios used by Hezbollah's second and third tier commanders, leaving an estimated 5,000 to 6,000 Hezbollah members incapacitated for combat. Other Israeli actions have included precision strikes targeting Hezbollah's leadership, which ultimately resulted in the elimination of its leader, Hassan Nasrallah, during a major strike that destroyed the organization's headquarters in Beirut. With thousands of fighters disabled, the entire leadership of Hezbollah eliminated, and the remaining members hesitant to use their communication systems due to fears of surveillance or further attacks, Hezbollah has been thrown into chaos, unable to effectively coordinate its large fighting force. This makes the present moment the ideal opportunity for Israel to advance. Regarding the invasion plan, targets, and Israel's strategic goals, while complete details are not available, analysis of videos, images, and statements from Israeli forces and close sources suggests that this is a limited operation focused on southern Lebanon, but involving a significant military presence. Around 2 divisions and 1 brigade are reportedly involved, meaning that approximately 50,000 to 60,000 Israeli soldiers are participating in the invasion. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, have released footage of airborne assault units preparing to strike, indicating that Israel is conducting infantry raids behind Hezbollah's lines along the border. The goal of using airborne forces is twofold: to seal off the perimeter, preventing reinforcements from reaching Hezbollah's front lines, and to block any retreat of the forces currently under attack, thus facilitating their encirclement and destruction. By deploying airborne troops, Israel signals that its intention is not only to push Hezbollah back, but to destroy as many enemy units and battalions as possible currently operating along the border. From what can be determined, Israeli forces are advancing in multiple columns to prevent Hezbollah from concentrating its defense in any one area. However, it has been confirmed that the main area of operation is south of the Litani River. According to UN Resolution 1701 from 2006, Hezbollah fighters are not allowed to be stationed south of this river. Israel's stated goal through its various actions is to push Hezbollah out of this region. Therefore, it is believed that the primary objective of this ground invasion is to advance up to the Litani River, destroying as many Hezbollah units as possible along the way and forcing the remaining fighters beyond the river. For Israel, this is the only way to ensure the return of more than 70,000 civilians who were displaced from their homes due to Hezbollah's attacks on northern Israel. In this complex, intense situation, the stakes are incredibly high for both Israel and Hezbollah. As Israeli forces push deeper into southern Lebanon, the intensity of the conflict is expected to increase, with Hezbollah likely to resist fiercely despite its current disarray. Civilians on both sides continue to suffer, with thousands displaced and living in fear of escalating violence. The destruction and loss of life are mounting, and the region teeters on the edge of a prolonged, devastating war.
The Israel Defense Forces is conducting limited and targeted raids along Israel's northern border against the threat Hezbollah poses to civilians in northern Israel. These localized ground raids will target Hezbollah strongholds that threaten Israeli towns, kibbutzim, and communities along our border. Hezbollah turned Lebanese villages next to Israeli villages into military bases, all ready for an attack on Israel. Hezbollah had prepared to use those villages as staging grounds for an October 7th style invasion into Israeli homes. Hezbollah planned to invade Israel, attack Israeli communities, and massacre innocent men, women, and children. They called this plan Conquer the Galilee. For decades, UN Security Council resolutions have called on Lebanon to make sure that its territory is free of non-governmental armed groups. UN Security Council Resolution 1701 from 2006, agreed upon by Israel and Lebanon, requires that there be no armed personnel, assets, and weapons other than those of the government of Lebanon and UNIFIL in southern Lebanon. 18 years after 1701, Hezbollah is the world's largest non-state army, and southern Lebanon is swarming with Hezbollah terrorists and weapons. If the state of Lebanon and the world can't push Hezbollah away from our border, we have no choice but to do it ourselves. I want to make it clear. Our war is with Hezbollah, not with the people of Lebanon. We do not want to harm Lebanese civilians, and we're taking measures to prevent that. We will not let 7th of October happen again on any one of our borders. We will continue doing whatever necessary so that Israeli families can return to their homes in safety and security.